ladies and gentlemen. As usual, my name is MC Magnanimous, Makamu Ben, and today I'm going to share with you something small on the Bible exposition of a character I am so much in love with. His name is Joseph. By the way, do you know Joseph? Joseph was the son of Jacob, and remember the mother goes by the name Rachel and had only one brother called Benjamin. I'm not bragging. My name is Makamu Benjamin. Well, today we're going to look at perception vis-a-vis reality. And what I am going to base my point too much is about what God sees in you and what people see in you. Remember, Joseph was a beloved son of his father. And this guy, he's called a dreamer every time. So I want us to move slowly, see the people who interacted with Joseph, and see their perception of him and the reality about him. That is, what they perceived of him and what God perceived of this brilliant young man in the name of Joseph. As we first meet Joseph, we find him as a beloved son of his father. So his father never saw anything more in that young man as opposed to just being a beloved son, the apple of his eye. But I want you to look at this. God had a more and a stronger purpose for Joseph than just being the beloved son of his father. I also want you to look at his brothers. Look at the brothers and the way they hated him because he was a dreamer. He had a dream that one day he would be ruling and they would be at his beck and call. And the brothers were up in arms against him. Look at these dream killers. So Joseph, in the hands of his brother, was just a dreamer. He was not anything special. The brothers never believed in his dreams. They just saw him as a person who is building castles in the air. As we leave Joseph in the hands of his brothers, slowly we go and find that Joseph himself, as we find him, the brothers decided to sell him. And they sold him to those particular merchants. And this guy became a slave. And they sold him to another land, that is Egypt. So in the hands of these particular merchants, Joseph was just a slave that was being sold by his brothers. So there was nothing better these people would see in him as opposed to just selling him to a person for money. As we proceed, we find that there is this issue where he was sold to Potiphar. And as he was sold there, he was sold there as a slave. So again, in the hands of the Potiphars, this guy was just a slave and he was a worker. And he was working in the court of this ruler in the name of Potiphar. But I want you again to continue with the story, and you find that as we continue having Joseph in the court of Potiphar, there are also the issue of this Potiphar's wife. I know most of you know that story, that Potiphar was in love head over heels with Joseph. And one day, when the master was away, she went to his room and wanted him just for a night, or maybe for a moment, maybe for a quick. So in the eyes of Potiphar's wife, Joseph was nothing but a boyfriend, something that she would just use to fulfill her sexual desires. Nothing more than that. Again, when Joseph refused to engage her because he would fail God, he was taken to prison. And he was living there in prison, and there Joseph became a prisoner. So in the eyes of the prison wardens, the guy was just a prisoner and nothing more than that. But I want you to look at this. All these people were wrong about Joseph. When he interpreted the dream of Potiphar, I want to tell you, after that particular interpretation, the reality now came up. Joseph was moved from being just a beloved son, from being just a dreamer to his brothers, from being just a slave or something to get some value from the sellers or the merchants, from just a servant in the quarter of Potiphar, from just a boyfriend in the eyes of Potiphar's wife, from the perception of just a prisoner in the eyes of the prison wardens. Joseph was appointed the governor of Egypt, and his brothers who had belittled him, his brothers who had undermined, these people who never believed in the beauty of his dreams. Last but not least, they came and bowed before him, and they were for one final last at his beck and call. So in life, there are times when people who are with you do not know your value. They do not know the real you, but they have a perception about you. Don't mind about what people say about you. You may be in the wrong hands of people, and when you reach your destination in the right hands, where God's reality is going to dawn to them, you're going to be a person that is honorable, that people salute and wish to have every time, a problem solver and a destiny connector. May God always prescribe the best for you, for man proposes, but God disposes. Ladies and gentlemen, see you always at the top. Bye. Usifanye hivyo siku ingine.
Nimepoa siku before